and welcome to my shop. Well, today I don't show you a project because I'm working on a, well, for me, bigger project at the moment, which is the birthday present for my mother. And as I got just 1 week left to do, I just show you one of the progress. I'll make a game board for her, and I had been, well, it took me the last 2 days to get this board like it is now. Well, this is the base, and the actual fields on here will be inlays, and I'll go ahead on that. And I'll show you when this is finished, but this will take another week from now. Well, I hope just another week. But for up to then, I'll just give you a quick tip over on my lathe, because, well, some people have got the same lathe or almost the same lathe as I do, and over the time you come to certain issues when it comes operating the lathe, and I'll just show you one of the downsides of my lathe. And well, as well, for the experienced ones, it might be a great tip for you as well, for tool maintenance. So just follow me along to the lathe and I'll show you what I'm talking about. Okay, this is what I'm talking about. Every once in a while, although you vacuum off all the wood, all the chips here, you encounter a problem with getting this to a tight fit, so it won't wobble at all. So on this one here, you got this bolt here and the nut underneath, which actually squeezes this together. And once in a while you encounter this problem. Although you just cranked it like hell, you are able to move this. Okay, the reason for this is that the sawdust here goes into the hole and is getting compressed by the bolt into the threads of the bolt. Okay, to get rid of that, you just, well, as normal, just go ahead and take this away from the lathe and just unscrew that bolt. Well, I did this before now, and there's actually no need at the moment for me to do this. But when you take this off, well, this is my accessory here, you should go ahead and clean the threads. Well, cleaning the threads is, in a way, seems pretty easy, but most of you take something like a steel brush, but you should never use a steel brush on here, and I'll just get you the brush I got. Okay. You have to use something like this here, and this is brass, no steel. The advantage, this one is softer than steel. I wanted to have a copper one, but you can't get a copper brush over here. Well, at least a copper brush is pretty expensive. So you just go ahead and clean the threads with this brass brush, and when it's done, you want to have some kind of lubricant on there. Well, most of the time you use this two-letter one number stuff here, and some people go ahead and spray it on. Well, don't do something like that. It is just enough to have a small, to have a tiny amount, a tiny film on there. And so I go ahead, take a paper towel and put some of this stuff on here. And this is actually enough for the whole bolt. And so just go and wipe this on here, and that's it. It also removes some rust, which might have come up during the time here. Okay, so you might have noticed this change. Well, the original one hasn't got the bolt on top here. What I do is I got this bolt to hold down this rubber washer. This rubber washer actually covers this hole where the sawdust goes in and tries to cloak up the threads. And now just go ahead and mount it again, and I think this is it. So for this top bolt, this has to be, well, first of all, on the first place, it has to be out of the way when you tighten it the first time. So you tighten this up, and you see, well, with little amount of pressure here, this is actually pretty sturdy at the moment. Now I just go ahead and lower the bolt so this washer isn't flying away. So in a way I covered this hole down here where the threads get cloaked by the sawdust, and it's pretty easy to open and close this again. So you won't end up with a screwed up screw, with a bolt rounded here, or getting some grip vices or something like that. The only thing, this does not stay where it should stay, is the cloaked sawdust inside the threads. Okay, so whenever you're doing maintenance on your lathe and you encounter something is going, well, not that easy as it had been done before, you should disassemble it and check for this. So my tip is never use steel on steel, because this might damage the threads. Use something like this, like brass or nylon, and you'll end up with a clean threads, and you'll have more fun with your lathe. So this is one important thing on here, so you don't have to crank it up like hell. Just look at what the pieces are doing. This is one major downside of this lathe. I don't know how it is on other banjos, but on this type of banjo, it's the only way to fix it, and the only way to prevent damage. Okay, so if there are any questions how to, well, maintain your lathe like this, please leave it down in the comments. I'm sorry I couldn't show you a project this week, but my mother's birthday present is #1 on my list at the moment. It takes a little longer than I thought, but nevertheless I hope the small tips I just gave you might be okay with you. Okay, with that said, please leave a thumbs up, and I hope I'll come up with a new project next week, and up to then, Greetings from good old Germany. It's your Peter Freitag. Thank God it's Friday.